Hello.
Goodness.
Good to see you.
Yes, man. We almost saw each other a short while ago. Um,
Yes.
and then, like I was thinking this morning, oh my goodness, it's going to be such a treat to speak to Karabo.
Ah, Lisa, man, it's so good to see you, man. It's so good to see you. Like we almost saw each other when I was
Yeah,
down in Cape Town.
yeah,
But then there was like, things happened and we couldn't make it happen. But
yeah.
but it's still good to see you though. How are you?
I'm good. I'm well. I'm well today. I'm feeling really good. Um, yeah. I was just thinking before we had this chat, as I was now preparing and getting done and ready, and something told me that I want to spend some time at the piano, you know? And
Okay.
so for like just like 12 and a half minutes, I sat at the piano and I played and I recorded and I sorted some
Wow.
things out. And I wondered, what do people who don't have music as an outlet, what do they do? You
Man, phew, I don't know. Hey, like it must be, I don't know how you can live without having that outlet, without
know?
having music, just something that can just soothe you, because sometimes words just can't really express, they can't really get to,
Mm,
where you need it to get to, where you need your
mm.
your emotions and your stuff to get to. And sometimes like just music just does that, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, so that was a
thank
great
God for
start to
music.
me for the day, and it's because I was going to talk to you. So I'm thankful. So you've already contributed something good to my day. But
Listen, I'm glad I could have I'm glad I could have done something to contribute.
so for everybody watching, this is Karabo Maimela. I'm not going to talk about how I first met Karabo because I don't quite remember. It was just a friendship that was there. It just happened like that. So, Karabo, tell everyone who you are.
Okay, so I'm Karabo Maimela. I'm a father of a very energetic 3-year-old. I'm a husband of a lovely, beautiful wife. Uh, brother, son, friend. Um, for a living, I'm a banker for a living. So that's what I do on a day to day. Aspiring musician. I don't think I can call
Ah,
myself a musician, but I am an aspiring musician, singer. Um, yeah, I think that's probably me. Just a lover of life and people and yeah, that's just me in a nutshell. And I do remember how we met, by
oh
the
my
way.
goodness. Okay. Is it a
I
PG
do.
story?
It is a PG. It is definitely a PG-13 story. So, I had just got to Cape Town, and I was 25 years old. So it was 10 years ago, right? When I met you, Lisa, and I think All Roads was the choir was having a rehearsal at um at a church. Was it Riverside Church?
Could be.
um I think it was Riverside Church, and so you guys were having your rehearsals there. And a good friend of mine, Tabo, was already, singing with you guys, and actually said, "You come through and you can just, you can sort of watch." And I came through and I sat and I watched, and of course, you being you, I saw you in your element, and because you were conducting and all that. So that's how that was my first impression of meeting you. You're like sort of like cracking the whip, but you were nice, but you're a conductor, you were doing your thing. So that's the first time that I met you. And yeah, and then after that, I guess it was history. We just became good friends. We became really tight, and yeah,
Yeah. I
and that's
mean,
that. Yeah.
I do want to clarify though that the crack the whip part remains metaphoric.
Absolutely, it is absolutely metaphoric. It is not nothing literal about it, but I mean, yeah, it was very nice to watch. It was very nice to
Ah,
watch.
thank you. Thank you. I am so glad that that happened then because I mean, you started singing with All Roads and I like heard this voice and I'm like, you, my bro, you know? Um,
Come on.
yeah. I really, really, really like your soulful R&B. It's uniquely you, you know. Um,
Thank
but
you, Lisa.
there's something behind that, but we'll get to that. So in in Cape Town, you were singing, you know, and I mean we cannot not mention tonality.
Ooh. Ooh, those boys are bad. Those boys are bad. And by bad, I mean good, right? Those boys were insane. So I had sang, in like quartets,
Mm,
up here in Joburg, because like six-part harmony and the intricate harmonies wasn't something that I was used to. It's something that I just, listened, take six do. So I'd never really heard it live, right? And then I get to Cape Town and these kids, because like
mm,
I mean, yes, we were all kids at the time, but I mean they're younger than me, so they were like in there, like they were 19, 20,
yeah.
and they were just like you killing these harmonies, and here I was, this 25-year-old who I could sing a little bit, but I didn't really know a lot about harmony. So it was like I think a big learning curve for me, just to sit and watch these boys just do their thing, because I mean, and X's harmonies and Bino's arrangements, and
Yeah.
like everyone is just so talented there, right? So I just watching them. I remember the first time I watched them and I listened to these guys sing. I was just blown away. And of course, when they asked me, "Hey, dude, would you like to come and sing for us?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course. I'd love to." You know, uh, but I felt like a fish out of water for most of the time,
Come
because
now.
I did, because because like I'm saying, harmony, the intricate harmony is not really, I'm not really great with that, and I know that, right? So it was really an opportunity for me to sit and learn from these boys, and it was great. And the interesting thing is, so you were also very instrumental, and I don't think a lot of people know that you were very instrumental. I mean, you actually helped um, X a lot with the arrangements, because we'd sit by the piano and you'd help us with the chords, and and that's the great thing about you, Lisa, is that you make people better, man. And I saw that
Oh,
when we were in that group, because X very talented, extremely talented, but you helped sort of like nurture that talent, right? Like, because he'd ask you, okay, how does this chord work? And you said, no, 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 how about try this one? And you'd play it for him, and he said, okay, fine, no, that works, that works great. And that's the
I
like,
don't
I,
remember.
I, I'm telling you, I remember, I'm telling you, there was a time we were in studio and we were recording, and I think I've shared this with you.
Mm,
And X is he's a perfectionist, right? And he was busy mixing stuff, and he loves Mervyn Warren, so that's his you know probably ultimate arranger, and he was mixing stuff for us, and you asked him, when it looked like he was done, you asked him, so are you happy with that mix? And he said, yeah, no, I'm happy with it. And you said, is it good enough for Marvin? And and I saw like the wheels in his head sort of like start to move, and he was like, he just shook his head. He shook his head, and he started mixing again, and he got it just right. And
mm.
that's another example of you sort of like I like the genius of you, because you don't like impose it, but you suggest, you subliminally suggest stuff.
Subliminally.
Yeah, you like some, is it, I mean, is it good enough for Mervin? And it was like, just shook his head, and he got it right. And I think that's sort of helped to mold him into this sort of great, sound engineer, producer, and sort of like powerhouse that he is right now,
He is a
and that's
powerhouse.
so you were very, man, you helped us a hell of a lot. I remember in those days with the chords and yeah.
You know, I really enjoyed, those times, the time with tonality and the time of tonality. I think it was always like for me groundbreaking in many respects,
Mm,
because they were breaking some glass ceilings, and tonality was stepping out. And I really was attracted to that. I like that. I like it when people, like, remaining comfortable is not an option anymore. Some
yeah,
people get to
yeah.
that stage and it's beautiful to watch, and that's what happened with tonality. And I think
Mm,
that sorry, you're right, the musicality is a thing in tonality. It was like so much musicality all around. And for me, it's a miracle that it was harnessed into such a sensible package. Because sometimes it can go
mm,
haywire if everybody's got
yeah,
something to contribute. But
yeah.
what was it like living in Cape Town that time?
So I'm a Joburg boy. I grew up in Joburg. It was at first it was weird, because it's not home. But I'm telling you, Lisa, when I arrived, like everybody just welcomed me with open
Oh,
arms.
no.
Like I didn't have the whole All Roads crew. Like I got there, I sat around, I kind of like sussed out everybody first, just to check, okay, are there any weird ones here, that I need to be wary of. And like everybody was just so cool, everybody was warm, and man, it was just really great. Like, and that really contributed so much to my Cape Town experience. Like I heard people say Cape Town is cliquey, you're gonna, struggle to fit in and all of that. But like when I got there, man, I didn't experience that. And people were just so warm. It was just like a fun, great group of people. So I actually had like a fantastic time when I lived there with all of you guys. It was just incredible. I think probably, some of the best times of my life was those 4 years or so I lived in Cape Town.
I'm waiting for you to say it.
Say what?
That Cape Town is also where you met.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Look, good. Cape Town's got good things. That is where I met my wife. So Cape Town, absolutely. It not only gave me the best years of my life, but it gave me my wife. You know, and I was able to make a baby because of that union. Yeah,
Yes, a beautiful,
so
intelligent baby.
a beautiful, intelligent, energetic baby. So like I love Cape Town. I always feel so like nostalgic whenever I go down there. It's our favorite place. It's my favorite place in the
Mm,
world.
mm. It
Yeah.
is a favorite place kind of place. Yeah,
It is.
definitely. So,
It is.
when I think of you meeting your wife in Cape Town, I think of that competition, man, that you did at Grand West.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think she was there one of the evenings, and I just looked at the situation and I thought to myself, I looked at the two of you interacting, and I thought to myself, this is it.
This, yeah,
Yeah,
you thought
and
there's something. There's definitely something there.
there's a thing there, you know. Um, what was that competition like, though?
It was. So yes, the thing was, so you were there every single night when I performed at that competition.
I had to
And
be.
and I remember I originally went to the competition because like I mean I needed the money and there was prize money, and I was like, oh, I can sing a little bit. It was a jazz competition. I'm not quite a jazz singer, but I'll give it a bash. And uh so I entered this competition, and it was my mind was blown away at just the talent, you
Mm,
know that just exists in Cape Town. Because I
mm.
mean there was like incredible talent, and some of these guys were like proper jazz singers, Lisa. Like a bit of paper. I mean, I was like I'm just, here I am, this kind of kid who loves R&B, and and hear these guys, doing scats and and all of these. So it was an incredible experience. I loved every minute of it, but it was also nerve-wracking because there's like a proper band. It's
Mm,
sophisticated, and
mm,
there's like a panel of judges, and they've got resumes, and then there's an audience, right? I think the first time we met, it's sort of like it was like a restaurant slash
yeah.
uh like club slash,
Mm.
but it was packed, and the energy was like incredible. It's not like singing church, you know because
It's a
because I
little
mean
bit
we
different.
it's a little bit different, because I mean we sing in church, all the time. We grew up singing in church, and people are quite reserved. They say amen, or they lift their hands up. But like when you're singing there, people are like screaming and stuff, and
Mm,
shouting. So it's a bit of a, you like, it shocks the system a little bit.
mm, mm,
But it was great, nerve-wracking, because the crowd also, you know I think that last night, the finale, there was, I don't know how many people were there, but I just know there were a lot of people there.
there were a lot of
And
people.
and
And
it
he's just trying
was
to say, like, very low key that he was in the final.
I mean, look, I got to the final, didn't win, but it was nice to at least be, you know to be mentioned, along those very incredible singers.
Mm,
Um, and I think I also learned a lot from that, you know,
mm,
and that is, like I said, I'm not a jazz singer. Yeah, I'm more like R&B. Even when I sing gospel, it sounds R&B. But
yep,
like, that's
because
that's
that's
sort
who
of
you
like,
are.
that's sort of who I am. But like, I learned something during that competition, and that is, there is something out there for everyone,
Mm,
right?
mm.
That no matter who you are, what you do, how you are, somebody out there will appreciate what it is that you do.
Oh, yes.
So like, it's sort of like, I think about this a lot, Lisa.
Mm,
um you remember Keith Sweat?
yes.
Do you remember Keith? So I mean, Keith Sweat, like this, R&B singer. I didn't really like him. Like, his tone was nasally, and I thought his songs were not very, were lackluster.
Mm,
But people loved him. He had
mm,
people that loved him, and he sold millions and millions of records.
mm,
Because I had people that loved him, like people like myself, who are like more into, some people that we think are more soulful,
mm,
maybe really didn't appreciate him. But there were people out there who loved his music, and like, that taught me like a valuable lesson. Like,
mm.
some people are not gonna like what you do, some people are not gonna be a fan of who you are, but like, some people are gonna love what you do,
Yeah,
and you just need to be true to who you are and what you do, and
absolutely.
somebody will appreciate that. So yeah, so that's
I
one of the
love
things
that.
that I started to learn, while I was doing that competition.
Wow. I mean, that's like such a big life lesson. Um, Not only for people involved in performance, but for anyone. Those are big life lessons. And I mean, we are fortunate if those lessons come to us in something that we enjoy, like
Yeah,
music. I mean,
yeah,
my first, or one of the strongest memories I have of that competition is that first night in that place. I think it's
yeah.
a restaurant with a
It
bar or
is, yeah,
something,
yeah,
but they converted the whole thing, like everybody was sitting and watching, the competition.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was so nervous before you sang. I was like so nervous. And you know what happened? You just
Yeah.
started your first line and the crowd erupted. Now that for me, I didn't know if I must laugh or cry or be relieved. I didn't know what was going on. And I say this because I had recently had another experience with that. you
Yeah.
know Lele and I were in a graduation together. We were in the audience. We weren't graduating together. I am not a doctor, but
Yeah.
we were sitting next to each other, and we told ourselves, okay, when the person that we are there for, when that person goes to receive their diploma, um, we're gonna scream, because all the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
families scream.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
Yeah, when the person walked up and the name was called, we were like,
Yay! And
yay,
it's it's awesome, isn't it? Like it's awesome to it's awesome to be on the receiving end,
yay. Mm.
but it's also awesome to sort of give it,
It
you
is.
know?
It
It
is. It
is, right?
is. And
Like,
not be like ashamed of giving it, you know?
yeah.
Because what I heard that night in Grand West, I felt like there were a million people shouting for Karabo. So I'm in good company, you know?
Oh, that was man, that was it was an incredible experience, I'll tell you. I mean, look, it's not every day that people are screaming your name. Yeah, because
You know.
you, for it's you know it's not because I mean on a normal day to day we sort of live boring lives. We wake up, we go to work, and we do what we need to do at work, you know and then we come back home, and when you come home, I mean, your wife and kid are not exactly screaming your name all the time, oh, daddy's home, so it was so it was very nice. I
Mm,
think everybody at least once in their lifetime should experience how
yeah.
that feels like.
Awesome. I think that's great advice. Follow Karabo's advice, ne? So speaking of 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 being a husband and a father, what has that taught you?
Being a husband and father, man, it's tough, man. It's tough in the sense that, so when you are, maybe I'll start with when you're a father. So I think when my little one was born, all of a sudden I was like, I felt anxiety because I was like, okay, now I actually have something to lose.
Mm.
um,
Sure.
and the anxiety was immense.
Mm,
Anxiety because, and particularly, like when like parents know, when your kids are small, when they're very small, like
mm,
you have to sort of help them do everything,
yeah.
like if they're not breathing, you sort of have to like kind of like nudge them and help them,
Mm,
if you feel or sense that they're not okay, or they're not breathing, you have to like kind of clear their passageways, and you sort
mm,
of have to do everything. You have to feed them, you have to bathe them and everything. So when we had Una, it was just such, I felt such anxiety.
sure.
Um, but the incredible thing was, that, like, with that anxiety, like as immense as it was, the love that I felt for her was stronger than that.
Oh,
And the love that I feel for her is stronger than that. And another like life lesson from being a parent that I've learned, is that, um, you know because the world is a terrible place.
yeah.
There's so many things that can go wrong,
Mm,
but that is eclipsed by the moments of love that can be shared, right? Like, it doesn't, like, it's as if, look, yeah, something bad can happen, but we love each other today.
mm,
Something might happen tomorrow or next year or whatever, but the fact that I got to experience you, the fact that I got to love you and you
mm,
got to love me, you
mm,
know it sort of eclipses, anything
mm,
that could happen,
mm,
in the future. And it's also a great way to deal with just life, with loss, and just things that happen, just
mm.
the whole idea that I got to love you, and better yet, I got to be loved by you,
By
and
you.
we got to experience all this beautiful stuff. It
Wow.
makes it worthwhile. And I
Mm.
guess, for as a husband, man, to be honest, Lisa, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't I don't like. I'm surprised this woman still loves me. I'm surprised she hasn't. I'm surprised she hasn't left me. She's still. I'm like, oh, she's still here, right? Like, to be like, to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, and oftentimes I have felt like an identity. You do feel some type of like an identity crisis
Mm,
when you get married, because all your life you've been who you are, and alone, and sort of doing your thing, and
mm,
now you with
mm,
someone else, right? And you sort of learning how to love somebody else, and how to be
mm,
good to somebody else.
mm,
um it's not just about you and what you like and what you want to do, but
mm,
it's more about, someone else, what they like, what they want to do. So it's also a shift in how one used to live, and
mm.
and that's what I'm learning. And it's made me a better person also,
Wow.
because I'm not so, I guess, centered in myself. What are
Mm,
my needs? What do I need? You know,
mm,
and that's important. It is important to sort of, establish what it is that you need, but it's equally important also to understand what somebody else needs as well. I mean, it makes you more, compassionate, more empathetic. So I think I think it's really helped me along those lines. But I'm not in a position to give anybody advice, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of, I'm just sort of, taking it as I go, just trying to be the best, person that I can be. And uh, but it's an incredible experience. It is.
that is just awesome. I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to comment because it's just awesome how you firstly are just willing to say what you've learned, in two experiences that I've heard so many people make about themselves, you know.
Mm.
That was really, really, I'm going to rewind that and play it again a few times.
Wow.
So, just following on that, um, do you have something encouraging to say to someone somewhere?
Hmm. I think, to that, going back to, um, what we spoke about being you, being authentically you.
Mm,
It's I think that's so important.
mm,
Um, and it's something that, I mean, even I think even I have to remind myself, okay, listen, I need to be who I am. This is who I am, you
mm,
know. And it might not be for everybody, but this is who I am. I've got people who absolutely love me. I've got people who may not love me, as much,
mm,
and that's cool. But
mm,
the idea of embracing who you are
mm,
in 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 its completeness
mm,
is so important, because it filters down to every single other facet of your life, whether you're a musician,
mm.
and you like making music, and maybe you like making country music, and maybe people in your immediate circle are not into that, but that's who you are. You need to be true to that, and you need to go towards that. Or maybe you like jazz, and people in your circle are more into house or whatever. You
Mm.
need to be true to that, and you need to focus on that. So it's one of the most beautiful lessons that I've learned, that I keep on learning, is just to be yourself, embrace who you are. When you're authentically you, people will embrace you for who you are, and not to try to be anybody else. If you're quiet, be quiet. If you're the strong and silent type, you be the strong and silent type. If you're the if you're the if you're the goofy type, like I am, then be that, but just be who you are, because you live a fuller life, a full existence, because of it.
Oh, you're just amazing, Karabo. I
Thank
want to
you.
tell
Oh
you,
man.
I want to
Mm.
tell you this, while I have you as a captive audience and in front of everyone who's listening.
You see this,
Hello,
my daughter in the shot.
Anna. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. That is so 2021.
Yeah, it is. It is sort of like that. Remember that CNN thing
Yes.
where this guy's like on international television, and this kid walks in.
Oh, man. But Karabo, I want you to know this. You bring
Mm.
joy wherever you go.
Oh man.
That's just
Oh.
my impression of you. And um, so I want you to know, I want you to remember that in all the joy bringing and in all the joy giving, you know, that when you need some joy, you have people.
Mm,
You have people. You have
mm,
people.
mm. Thank you so much, Lisa. Those are such kind words, man. a wonderful way to sort of, start the day. Thank you so much. Uh, and it's man, it's lovely knowing that you've got people, right?
Mm,
That you can, because that's what it's about,
yeah, yeah,
having people. We all have days when we're not feeling so great, you know, and it's great to know that we've got people. And
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
and I'm very happy and glad and proud of the fact that you one of my people.
Oh, no,
That use my
no.
people, Lisa.
No, I
Use
so
my
am.
people.
I so am as your people. Um, but thanks, Karabo, man. This has been
Thank you.
awesome. A weird catch up, but like not
Yes.
like we used to, but still awesome because it's you, you know.
Awesome.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I was surprised when you asked me to be part of this, but very, very thankful. But surprised, but very thankful.
Uh,
But thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I think just this is just incredible. I think what you're doing is incredible. But like I'm a, It's weird. Like I'm a friend, but I'm also a fan. Like
Don't be shy.
I'm a friend and I'm a fan. So it's just it's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Karabo. I'm so shy now. But anyway,
Wow.
we'll see you next week, everyone, for the next episode of Conversations. Thanks, Karabo.
Thank you so much, Lisa.